Warren Wint, you tapped in with PPhilms. What's the word, man?
We here, man. We here. The word is phenomenal. You know what I'm saying? And speaking of phenomenal, before anything, I gotta just give you your flowers because you've been doing your thing. I'm seeing these reposts a lot with this background. I'm like, PPhilms, and then I look and I'm like, oh, it's the bro. You know what I'm saying? Big Elmont, man. Legendary Elmont, man. For those that don't know, man. Yes, Elmont. You know what I'm saying? I'm allowed to say that. Yes. So salute to you, brother. Bigger lie. We here.
I appreciate that. And I'm only going to let Warren Wint say that, you know what I'm saying? He's better tell, don't y'all come over here, try to act like y'all my brothers, you know what I'm saying? Warren Wint, get that.
It's a fact.
Nah, real talk, man. I just want to give you your flowers as well because I feel like, man, son, you was that person that inspired us before anybody. Like, I can't even, you know what I'm saying? Like, you took this so far, so to come full circle and be sitting down for this interview now is a beautiful thing, you know what I mean?
Couldn't have said it better, brother.
Word. When they say God said rap, you definitely took you took that message, you took that theme, and you went with it, and you definitely inspired so many. You know what I'm saying? Definitely.
I feel like let me do this with you, man.
Yeah.
Let me do this with you because you know what I'm saying. It's you. I ain't going on. Yeah, we here in real time. Let me put this away.
Absolutely. Warren Wint, man.
Put these away, man.
From Elmont, we call it Exit 13.
We got a lot of names. Exit 13,
definitely.
03,
yeah.
Black L. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? So yeah.
It's a lot.
Bangmont.
Yep.
Mont Bang, right?
Yep.
Shout out to Mont Bang is Bangmont. You already know.
Word. You know, let's start it off like this, man. How have you been mentally, emotionally, spiritually? I know there's so many things you've been doing. You got your hands in a little bit of everything. You taught a lot of us how to hustle and all that. So just tell us, man, where have you been? What have you been up to? I mean, I know, but some people that might be watching this might not know every little thing. But for the people that don't know, where you been, what you been up to, what's Warren Wint been up to these last couple of years, weeks, months, all that?
Right. Well, first and foremost, we might need a two-part interview for all of that, but I'll just try to crash course it, you know. So, I mean, we can go back as early as 2010 and 11, you know, being like a super pup and being on BET's 106 and Park, you know, getting that exposure as a on-air hype man. Shout outs to Staten Island's own DJ Megatron, you know, God bless him, God bless his soul. And I was able to come in after that and, you know, had a little short stint there, but it gave me enough insight to be like, wow, Warren, like you could really do something in this entertainment thing, you know? So I would just keep putting my work in. And I've done a lot of great things. I've been on MTV, shout out to Sway. I've been on MTV with Sway doing a Breakfast Bars rap segment on there. I was also featured on 300 Entertainment's platform, 300U. You know, I have also been on Sway's Overtime. I've been on Shade 45 numerous of times rapping. You know, Bars on 95, On the Radar. I've had my music in shows like Cobra Kai, All American. I've also even had it in movies such as Tyler Perry's Bruh and A Very Merry, I think it's called A Very Merry Salon, starring Tia Mowry on Lifetime. So I've been doing a lot, you know, sync licensing, just running around on these platforms, really rapping, and just really putting it out there like, yo, not only is NY here, but Long Island is here. Absolutely. And specifically Elmont, you know, there's a lot of great talent here. You know, we're literally an example of it. We're like two guys from the towns that's outside, you know. Shout outs to Brody Fresh, shout outs to, you know what I mean, New Vegas Films, you know. Shoot, it's so many, you know what I'm saying? Shout outs to Rome Streets, man. It's a lot, you feel me? So,
a lot going, exactly.
Yeah, it's a lot going on.
People don't know that,
I'm very grateful and blessed to be a part of it because I actually have relationships with everybody I mentioned. You know, we go way back. Like, you know, y'all know PPhilms. I knew him when he was looking like me. You know what I'm saying? That's how far back. So it's a blessing to be in this space where we existed and things are happening. You know, I just put out an album. I'm going to say a mixtape, but the people gave it to me like an album. So, you know, I'm a jacket as such. But God Said Rap on all streaming platforms. Shout outs to Star Toki, Shout out to Neji, everybody that was a part of it, you know. Also did it at Studio Kings, you know what I'm saying, in Queens. You know, I want to give them their love. And yeah, you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to put out like 3 more projects for the rest of the year. You know what I'm saying? So people will be people. That's the next thing, so look out for that. But yeah, man, very grateful, very thankful, you know. My little man growing, you know.
There you go.
I love you, Jalen. And yeah, fam, doing good. Been through some, you know, some funerals.
Yeah,
you know, I would say 2021 really changed a lot for me personally, as it would affect everything else I went through. I think I went to like almost 20 funerals that year.
Damn.
Yeah.
Damn.
5 of them being like very, very close, including my grandfather,
Okay,
my mom's dad.
Rest in peace
Thank
to
you.
everybody you passed away close to you. Anybody aligned with all of that, man. Definitely rest in peace. And my condolences.
Yeah,
for sure.
Thank you. It's a lot, you know. So
Where's the headspace at right now?
oh well, you know, just staying grounded, staying close to God. You know, I very much so practice heavy prayer, meditation.
Yeah, need that.
Yeah.
Need that.
Being able to center focus. A lot can happen in life and it could throw your equilibrium off, you know, be it relationships, you know, intimate, or, you know, just business or family, whatever. You know, it's a whole lot going on. It's a whole lot.
You know, let's talk about I know you say it's the mixtape, God Said Rap. Many songs on it that a lot of people like, you know what I'm saying? What would be Warren Wint's favorite song on that project and why?
Oh man, that's always a tough question for an artist, especially one with my caliber, because it's like, man, I could roll the dice and pick one. But I'll say The Warm. I'll say The Warm. And I'm gonna say The Warm because I feel like The Warm is the record that I would say surprises listeners the most.
Yeah.
You know, like if you heard of me, even if you never heard of a song and you heard of me, you know you're familiar with my lyricism, you're familiar with my walk to some degree, or even me being revered as a top lyricist, whether it's period or New York, whatever you want to classify it as. But The Warm adds context, it adds color to the character. It shows y'all who the lyricist, like what type of woman the lyricist is dealing with. You know, I say a line like, you know, you got that make me come home in an instant.
Yeah.
See, people be talking about girls, or they talk about, you know, being intimate with a woman, and it kind of feels like surface level, you know? But I'm like, you got that make me come home in an instant. Like when it purr and you keep it persistent.
Yeah.
Drinking your elderberries and hibiscus. That's what my, you feel me? That's what my ladies do, drinking elderberry, you know what I'm saying? And hibiscus. Say you would eat it, treat it like a biscuit. For me, you would risk it. You know what I mean? And I just go on. But I love The Warm. Warm is probably, I would say, my favorite.
Gotcha. Would that be the most meaningful song to you too? I know it might be one of your favorite songs, but would that be the song that's the most meaningful or has the most significance to you? Or are those two different things?
It's different. I'm going to tell you why. It's slightly different because it is significant to me. Again, I think it's very important for me in this point in my career to now break down and give color to who I am. If you don't know me, just know Warren, fire rapper, good dude, you know, always talking positive.
Absolutely.
That's it.
Yeah.
You know, but I want to add context to it. I want to let it be known some of the stories of, you know, not stories, but some of the experiences I've had to encounter to get to this point of being super positive and just staying grounded. You know, I want to share, you know, some things that I've had to deal with behind closed doors, you know, things that may help someone in their life, in their walk, you know. So going back to what you're saying as far as the significance, you know, meaningful. Curses. Shout out to OnStar. You know, Curses is, whew, you know, like it was one of them records where, see, when I do records with OnStar, he's one of the brothers in my life that motivates me to like not curse in my music, you know, and things like that. I remember the first time we ever did a record, I sent him my verse, how I sent it, you know, a little vulgar in there, a little, you know.
Yeah.
And he like, yo, dope verse, Cam. I can't put it out like this though. I gotta clean it up. But you gotta commend that. You gotta salute that, respect that, because that's we talking levels.
Yeah.
You know, and that's from a higher frequency. So yeah, that record. You know, I'm saying things like Jamaican, so I couldn't jerk around with the faking. We creating, fighting the demons through demonstrations. It's amazing. The games that we played with throughout the stations. Grew up Christian, but was close to the edge and recreation. Up the ladder I would climb. As they cheered what I would make of it. Hated beatings, only in a safe I'ma take a hit. My mom's used to smoke, now I do for the sake of it. She laid more hands on me than domestic relationships. What you know about white bread and sweet milk? Listening to R&B is how I knew silk. What been passed around, pray the devil don't take me now. Always known to be up, but was stuck with the hand-me-downs. See my clothes wearing satin, combating them cold leathers. Had fur that was faux, but them foes, they know better. Learned it from my pops. Forget friends, them fools watch. Most be the first to fall when they claiming they got the drop. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, So, you know, and that one gets a lot of love in a way where it's like, I could be in crowds that I wouldn't think would receive that style of music in a certain way. And they'd be like, yo. You know, shouts to Donna, you know what I'm saying? And Don, the producer, crazy with that one, but yeah.
How do you, you know, God said rap, and you speak about being raised Christian. Are you still Christian? Are you what do you identify as? Because you make a lot of references, even shalom, meaning peace. You know, like there's so many references to the Most High or higher being. Period.
Yeah.
Do you identify with a certain religion or no?
I do not, and I want to be very careful with how I say this because. I grew up in the church.
Gotcha.
Okay. I grew up what I knew as Christianity.
Yeah.
Right. Since last couple of years, I really want to say COVID, a lot of things changed for me. A lot of things changed for me. I was beginning to make that walk, a very serious walk with God, to strip myself of everything negative and distance myself from negative people and things and just anything that just felt off to my spirit. But yeah, I can't tell you that I identify and say, yo, I'm a Christian. I will tell you that I am a child of God. I am of God in God's image. You know, people call it spiritual, you know, or practicing my spirituality, whatever. I just know that we are all of the Most High.
Yeah.
You know, the Most High created everything here while utilizing different vessels. God is everywhere with us in all times, every second. So that's what I identify as.
Gotcha.
No.
Gotcha. I guess growing up in a Christian household, how do they feel about the representation of the artwork on your mixtape cover? Or did you even get questions about that?
I can't tell you that I got real questions about it. I think it was just received well. Like people thought it was clever. You know, I think thought it was clever. Because it's a play on. You know, I don't think it's necessarily disrespectful at all. You know, I don't think it's even those type of vibes. I think it was just a play on it. If you see, I got the mic in my hand and you know, I'm wearing the garbs and whatnot. And at that time when I did the album, I believe when the photo that I used was when I had locks, so I had that piece on my head, the wrap and all of that. But even so, that's a royal light garb, if I'm not mistaken, and just a presentation. So yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. You know, we kind of opened up and you did express like you said earlier, we from Elmont, you know what I'm saying? Exit 13. Talk to the people a little bit about
26B too.
Word, right?
26B too.
Yeah, all right.
You know what I'm saying? I'd be like, yo, man, he from the other side now.
Yeah. Our side really had issues. Let's not even.
Yo, I hope it's over now. Yo, listen, if you from Elmont, Sawanica, love each other, man. Figure it out, man. You feel me? Elmont all day. Look, Elmont, that's it.
You feel me?
You from Elmont, that's it. Lock it in.
I remember it was those times you couldn't walk or you couldn't walk to Black L. You couldn't. You know what I'm saying? But it was always tricky for me because I went to Elmont, but I lived on y'all side. So I was kind of like I got love on both sides. So
Yeah.
people like, yo, why you over there with them? And why you? I remember having friends from Sewanaka, and they like, yo, if anybody playing with you in Elmont, we coming up there. I'm like, man, my friends too.
I went through that too. Sure.
Funny part. But
Yeah.
talk to us a little bit about what it was like, the upbringing out here for you.
I love Elmont. You know what I'm saying? Like,
likewise.
I'm not one of them guys that, yo, Elmont, like, nah, Elmont is home. Like, it's so real for me. Like, even when I get off the highway, if anybody asks me, like, yo, let me know when you're home. Like, as soon as I get off the highway, I tell them, yo, I'm home.
Yeah.
I'm cool.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Literally. High school was funny, you know, because it's like going to a school like Sewanaka, you know, it's very diverse. So you got all kinds of people there and whatnot. And because my older brothers there, you know, went there, actually my first year at Sewanaka. So for those that don't know, certain schools in Long Island, high school is 7 to 12. There's no middle school. So after elementary school, which is, you know, 6th grade for us out here, then we go to high school. So I went to school 1 year with my brother, but I never like used him or like shouted him out. Like I seen people do that. Like, yo, it's my older brother. I was just naturally was just like, yo, I'm on my own time, and you feel me?
Yeah.
But there was a time I did have to use the big brother card because it was a senior. Yo, and shout out to my man too. You know what I'm saying? Damn, I can't think of son name right now, but either way, I had threw a milk carton to my man who was next to his sister. I'm cool with his sister. We went to elementary school and all that. It splashed. He came through, yo, you almost hit my sister. So I'm like, all right, I kept it cool. Like, I'm like, all right. But in my head, I knew how I was going to move, so I was just going to holler at my brother. Like, little do he know. That was my play.
Yeah.
I'm leaving. I'm walking home from, leaving out into school. He run up to me. He's like, yo, why you ain't telling me that so-and-so was your brother? I'm like, you know what I'm saying? So it was an interesting upbringing, but it was cool. You know, a lot of things happened, you know what I mean? A lot of firsts happened out here, you know, and
y'all from Black L. Typically, y'all side is tougher than our side. So they say, you know what I'm saying?
We not gonna do that because I love Elmont period. But
I love it all. But they say.
But let's do this, right? We can't call it statistically speaking or whatever. But the homes on your side are more impressionable looking than the homes on my side.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. Y'all side look like a third world.
You feel me? Black L, baby. Black L, baby. But it's real though. The park used to be lit. Let's HP.
Absolutely.
You know.
Absolutely.
So, you know what I mean? Like when I moved out here when I was 6. When I moved out to Elmont when I was 6, freaking what happened? There was a shootout at the park.
Yeah, it was turned up. A lot of people have this perception that Long Island there's nothing happening, but yo, bro, there's things happening. You feel me? Like it's just like anywhere in the world. You got your parts where there aren't so many tough people, but then you have your areas where there's tough people. It's going down. You know what I'm saying? It might not be as much as this place or that place, but it's going down everywhere. You know what I'm saying? Word. But I always got love for everywhere in Elmont. Despite all the issues and all that, it's always love.
Yeah. And I think that love happens when you not only love more on yourself, because that's what I had to do. You know, a lot of my walk doing music brought me to so many places. See, when I was starting doing music, I was always taking the bus and train to go to the city for events. You know, all the time. I was coming up, I was so young doing it, but I was just intuitive. I was up here to know, all right, let me utilize as much resources as I can within my reach. You know, I was putting up songs and freestyles, putting my music behind a picture, putting it on Facebook. I'm pretty sure, like, you know what I'm saying? We done seen tags where we tagging, and I was tagging people, and then my song now was on everybody's page. When you go on people's page, you visit. That's how I used to, that's how I was marketing back then, like a minute ago, bro. Like, you know, so not to go off on a tangent and whatnot, but
that's how it was.
Elmont, man. You know what I'm saying? Elmont, man.
Yeah. Like, for the people that don't know, you know, how did you even what inspired you to even start rapping? You know what? Matter of fact, better question, who was you listening to when you was younger? And then what inspired you to be like, yo, you know what? I could do this. You know what I mean? What was that like for you?
I was at a party.
Yeah.
I was at a party. And shout out to my bro Joe, you know what I'm saying? Traj, Ryan, they know. And he's my guys like to this day, so you know. But went to a birthday party and we was over there. They was like, yo, $60. And this is in a time where, you know, we in 7th grade. So I'm like, $60, it's lit.
60 is lit.
For a 7th grader, you feel me? So the plan was...
At them times, Uptowns was $80.
Yeah, right,
60, you 20 away from fresh new pair.
Right. So the plan was we was going to just battle and then like whoever win, we get the bragging rights, but we was going to split the bread.
Gotcha, okay.
That's my man, like...
Yeah.
Boom, I go rap. I rap over the young. If you don't give it, then go. I never think I could see it's like yesterday, right? I rap my little verse, whatever, freestyle and all that. Like, and I'll try, bro. I wouldn't tell you I'm like the craziest freestyler off the top of the head, all that. Nah, but like I'll try. I put my everything in it, so I try whatever did rap.
Yeah.
He go. I remember the line to this day. He said, "Yo, this guy, I think he real funny. I think he had his shoes about a year or two, and he choked." The line he was gonna say was a year too many because my sneakers were scuffed. Yeah. I think he was thinking about lines as I was going. But anyway, so I'm thinking I won because at least I got through my verse.
Yeah.
Boo, you suck, get off the stage. Yo, to both of us.
Okay, damn.
So it was so bad that they got both of us out of there and they just asked somebody to rap and it gave homie the bread.
Damn.
Yo. And it was so hilarious because like even to talk about it now, it's like I got so tight about that.
Yeah.
At that time where I was like, nah, forget all that, man. Forget all that. I'm gonna rap. And then that's what got me to rap. Wow. And I just coasted by school because I just wanted to rap.
Yeah.
I just made sure I just did what I did. If I liked the subject, cool. But if it was whatever, it was whatever.
Yeah.
I just never looked back.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And that's funny. That was the only time I ever got booed.
Yeah. After that, just been killing. Yeah. I done seen you, like you stated before, BT, MTV, so many places, so many people we've seen you around too. We've seen you around DNA. We've seen you.
Get money, drink water. That's why. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's such an extensive list and all that. How does that happen? Like, walk us through the process of all of this stuff taking place for you. How does that happen?
God, man.
Yeah.
If you would have asked me this years ago, I would have like said something else but God. You know, For example, DNA. I met DNA through our mutual friends. So like one of my closest guys is his best friend.
Wow.
Like they grew up together since they were 2.
Gotcha.
So when he moved from Corona to Elmont, me and him got cool. So you know, naturally, it's the cool of the cools getting together. Yeah. We met on the phone, and we was just talking for like, I think we might just talk about an hour or something just about rap, bro. We just just clicked like that. You know what I'm saying? So so ever since them days, like we literally grew up together. Like we not from the same hoods, but like I used to, as we got older. So I'd say we met like I might have been, if not 12, 13. Yeah. When me and DNA met. You know
wow.
Literally.
Yeah, I thought y'all met like after like getting into the music industry and all that.
No,
wow.
I know DNA. You know what I mean? That's my brother for real. Like
gotcha.
you could say boom and you know. Anyway, so you know, I used to save lunch money and go take the train to go check him and go record in the studio. Once we was like 15, 16, this is when we started really actively recording in studios. This is when people got their home setups and things like that. I used to always pull up on 111 Roosevelt, you know, right off the 7 train.
Absolutely.
And there used to be days where we couldn't get in the studio. You see how you know what I mean? The bus, you know, we was talking off cam about traveling and do stuff and then getting the dub and then now you got to turn back, bus and train. I've had to do that too. Exactly. So so just something like that with my relationship with my brother DNA, and then that would grow. Like we was like everywhere, you know what I'm saying? Always trying to rap together, you know, like, and I'm proud of him. I seen it firsthand. Yeah. I remember when he called me before he started battle rapping. Wow. Literally, like, and it's so funny because I told him, like, yo, do it, but don't get too, because I know him for music. Yeah. You know what I mean? And then it just did what it had to do for him. God took him on that route and here we are talking about one of the more legendary, you know what I'm saying, great
battle rappers.
lyricists, and that's my brother.
Did you ever consider battle rapping yourself since you had a
Nah. And I get asked that. I think I've gotten asked that more later now because I think the platforms that I've been able to showcase my lyricism have been grander and more consistent, right? You talking I think within the last couple years, like no denying, like every verse came out of my repertoire is retarded. You know what I'm saying? But nah, never. I've always been the guy that like, if I know somebody, like I see one of my brothers, my sisters doing something prominent, like I identify them for that.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? Like
that's your thing.
Yeah. If I have a passion behind it, then it's just for me. Like I'm doing it like, you know, but nah, never. And it's funny because, you know, I've had wild battles off cam, you know, but would I be a battle rapper like for real now? Okay. You know, shout outs to Hip Hop Gamer, shout outs to my verse. I battled my verse. My verse is a whole legendary battle rapper. You know my verse?
Wow, yeah, hell yeah.
See, he said, I battled her on Honey 7. We did a 1-round concept battle. You know, 60 seconds, 1 round.
They give you the concept to talk about. Okay.
Yeah, so I played Joker, she played Harley Quinn.
Okay. Gotcha. Yeah. That's pretty that's fine.
Yeah.
Bet. What would you say is one of your greatest moments thus far within the industry? Something you're truly proud of?
That's a good question. Because I have so many for so different reasons, but
Yeah. All right, so cool. Give us 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
The MTV thing was a big look.
That's big.
Like that was a movie.
Yeah.
You know, shouts to my bro Malik Dupree. Another Elmont legend, like, you feel me? I actually was wearing his previous clothing line. You know, shouts to Savage Ruthless. You know.
Yes, he did do the Savage Ruthless. Yo, that. Oh man, yup.
You feel me? And I have it on MTV. I think that was one of them. Yeah. Because I'm a big fan of representation. I'm a big fan of, you know, holding my people down. And Absolutely. I remember telling them, I said, I want to. So, you know, did my thing. I remember Sway asking me, yo, you ready? He's telling me, hey, man, if you mess up, you know, we're going to do more takes.
Yeah.
One take that thing.
There you go.
Like, there's only one platform that see me redo something.
Okay. Could I ask you off camera?
No, you can ask. Yeah, Chinatown. Shouts to Chinatown. Bub Styles, G. Yeah. I was sick, though. They could tell you, my voice, you know, it was raspy. It was wild. I was fighting through it. I was fiending. I should have actually not did it when I did it.
Gotcha.
But I was just...
wanted to do it.
Yeah, I'm like, I got to, you know, I don't know if I had a project out around that time, but I was just trying to make sure things is moving, you know. But
and I get that.
Yeah.
I get that.
So I would say the MTV thing, Breakfast Bars, that was, you know, I to this day, there's people that when I'm in certain convos with them, they might be like, yo, I remember one time I was in a clubhouse, right? And my man was like, yo, nah, he being mad humble. Yo, he did this, that, rapped on MTV. And I'm like, now when I think about like who from the town rapped from MTV? It ain't about from the town, it's just we all play a role in bringing things back home. You feel me? If you did an interview with Boom Boom Boom, it's like you the one that did the interview with Boom Boom Boom. You from the towns, people. You know what I'm saying? And I could go on, but everybody that's doing their thing and it's coming back to the towns. It's the attention on it. You know what I'm saying?
It's bringing more, and that's the thing. When you hear a rapper from Brooklyn or Harlem, everybody pays attention because of the work that everyone from Harlem or Brooklyn did. Yeah. So the more of us that are doing work in Elmont, when another kid comes up, everyone's gonna be like, oh, I know Warren from Elmont. I know PPhilms from Elmont. Malik from Elmont. All these people, Rome Streets from. Oh, all right, boom. Then we got to give this kid a chance. Let's see what he got.
Exactly.
I get it.
Exactly. And that's and it's very important to rep that. That, you know, these are talks that I've had with all of us that's doing it, and you can ask them. Yeah. I'm saying, you know, me and Brody talk about it. Vegas talk about it. I'm like, Elmont. Trust me, Elmont. We are our town's resources. We cannot be those people that come from here, you know, take from here, be inspired from things that go on in our lives here, and then slide and give it no water, no nourishment.
Gotcha.
But yeah, going back. So the other second thing I would say would be, again, for so many reasons, but easily being on Hot 97, being interviewed on Hot 97.
Yeah.
It's one thing to get played on Hot 97, Power 105, whatever radio station, but to be interviewed on a station that as a kid I grew up and ran and listened to, I remember, listening to the radio when all these moments were happening, people were freestyling live, there was no cameras and there was no social media. If you wanted to hear so-and-so freestyle, you had to go tune in at 7 p.m. or whatever time,
That's a fact.
But yeah, shouts to Drewski. Drewski interviewed me on Hot 97 and yeah, that was fire.
Shout out to Drewski, man.
So again, so many moments, but off the top of my head, those two were like.
Yeah, gotcha. Bet. There's so much other things we could talk about. I did want to pick your brain apart with this. I seen a clip. Last week from shout out to Trapland.
Shout out to Trap.
Interview comes out. I don't know if the interview's out, but I seen a clip of Jaeo basically, I guess, having a discrepancy with you or some type of issue. And immediately I was shocked. I was thrown off because I was like, what the hell? I don't know Warren for having issues with anybody.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, nah, let me reach, you know what I'm saying? Let me reach out. This is my guy from the town. Let me reach out. And we found ourselves here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And thank you for reaching out because, see, I'm somewhat of a loner, right? Where like I practice staying to myself, not necessarily purposely, but just for, I guess one would call it protection, right? You want to avoid certain things. I can deal with my things, whatever. So I'm very thankful for you reaching out, and that's why I wanted to do this interview here,
Yeah.
I'ma just keep it a bean. I'ma do this because the internet stuff with conflict is very whack to me. Especially when we have had a rapport where we were cool or cool to some type of degree. So I'll do my best to
for sure.
just get through that. So this goes back to 2022.
Okay.
Right? Now it's like towards the end of 22,
Going into 2023?
Yes, going to 2023. He asked me to do some blogs for him, help him get, blogs and press of that nature because he's looking to get his page verified.
Gotcha.
Right?
Okay.
Now, I knew prior to that he had his page verified. And then there was a time where people's pages were getting, those blue checks were disappearing.
Gotcha.
Right? And I think it had something to do with whether it was the press submitted and certain platforms no longer being, a part of the qualifications for a legacy verification.
Yeah.
Whatever. So I'm like, all right, cool. Got him the blogs. Now we in 23, right? He pays the money, right? Told him how much it was, $1,500, right? Boom. And we have a contract about this, so hence why I could comfortably speak about it. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So Meta Verified is set to launch, right? Now, if anybody's seen this, you could comment in the comments, whatever you want to comment, but I would love to see people that know about these things because, it's something that people don't talk about. You know what I mean? We talking about asking somebody that works at a place to go do something that I'm not going to necessarily say is illegal, but it's somewhat of a backdoor thing. You know what I mean? You can't, go shopping on the net and say, hey, I'm going to put IG verification in the checkout and boom. And right? This is not that, right? We know that. Okay. So March comes and then, Meta Verified his lives. He's like, yo, I wanted to be like this, and this, that. And I feel like and when I say me, myself and my boy who connected me with the situation because he's the one I have a buddy who has a relationship with Meta.
Gotcha.
One of my good guys, you know what I'm saying? Pause, let me say pause because I said buddy, right? But I'm Jamaican. Anyway, so on a serious note, so he's expressing a lot, he's very upset, texting me. And it's to the point where when I communicate, I a lot of times take from, my boy, our conversation, I will screenshot, send it to him so you can see
I am
You know,
doing what I
I'm
could
doing.
do.
Yeah, I'm conducting my communication as best as possible.
Yeah.
To help solve this matter and get a better understanding, right? So I can't remember exactly when he requested a refund, but he requested a refund. I want to say, if not April, maybe May.
Okay.
It's so long ago. We talking
Yeah,
2023,
yeah. That's
right?
a minute ago.
Right, 2023. So I'm working on getting a refund. I asked
Yeah.
my boy about it. He says, "Yo, I sent the monies out PayPal. I have to go through PayPal to get the monies back."
Gotcha.
Cool. If
Gotcha.
anybody knows, when you do business with PayPal, they're not the greatest with refunds. It takes a long time. Anyways. And not all the time, but sometimes. But anyways.
Yeah.
So maybe like June. June is when they have the first summer jam in Elmont.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Right. So at this time, I didn't see statuses from this guy. You know, he's putting my name in Facebook and he's just making all kinds of remarks. He even friend requested my mom on Facebook. You know what I mean? Like, he's texting me very disrespectfully. His manager is joining in on the disrespect as well. Not heavily, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But, you know, just like a support, if you will. I see tags on Instagram. There's times I've been in a live and he'll jump in a live. Well, I can't wait to see him. All of these things.
Yeah.
You know, and as I'm going through, you know, I'm finding some difficulty to really stand grounded because, you know, on one end, these remarks are being made and it's, you know, affecting me.
Yeah,
Because
for
it's
sure,
like,
for
because I'm
sure.
human too. You get what I mean? And, but I also prayed and I asked God to give me the wisdom and I just did my best to work through the mental part of it. Once I got this from him, right? Once I got this from him.
I ain't making no threats, man. Like, I don't think that's anything close to what I was saying by take it there, but it's like you had to sign a contract that stated XYZ by XYZ date, and XYZ didn't happen. If this was something that didn't have a contract, didn't have any of this and that, it's like, what type of games are we playing? Like, I could easily go, if I wanted to be an asshole, I have a case right now with a contract that was signed to go back and be an asshole and say, you know what, I want 5,000 now. Like, take it there like, nah, like, I'm not gonna make a threat to somebody over the phone, a physical threat. So, excuse me if that's how you took it.
I'm like, oh, okay. You know, he's doing the court thing.
Yeah.
I don't put nothing past anybody. So of course, initially when I'm hearing certain things, I'm thinking this is, you know, a different kind of energy, right?
Yeah.
But when I heard that, I was like, oh, okay, all right. I might need to really take this that kind of serious because again, we do have a contract. You know, I'm hearing from you that you saying, hey, if I wanted to be an a-hole, you know, that I could go and have a case, then I could ask for 5,000. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Again, that's why I mentioned the ticket earlier, so that way the listeners could get the reference. And then his manager is a lawyer. Literally.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So again, I'm thinking about it from that angle.
Gotcha.
So once we clarified, like once we got that understanding as far as like, yo, there's a refund and we're gonna work on that, I stopped communicating about anything else with him.
Yeah.
That's it.
Initially, was he getting aggressive or anything?
Oh, absolutely. I told you he made a whole bunch of remarks.
Yeah.
You know, one would call them threats.
Yeah.
But you know, they were just very negative. You know, like I said, oh, you know, I got money for anybody that could give me his address and da 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 da.
Wow.
There was even somebody that he spoke to that he thought, I guess, was helping him give some type of information on me because he was like, yeah, yo, I remember him texting me, he's like, yeah, yo, I know a barbershop you go to, da 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 da, stop playing with me. And I'm like, okay, like, what does that mean? Like, you could come to my barbershop.
Yeah.
I mean, might need you a line anyway.
Yeah. Well, at any point, was there ever like, was he ever like, yo, let's talk about it or something? Like, was it just immediately?
No, it was once it got to a certain point where it went from, you know, hey, what's the word with the refund? You know, asking about the updates. It went from that to, yo, I better have my money and da 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 da. You know, and the bravado was very, again, very aggressive.
Gotcha.
You know, and again, my thoughts when I heard that voice note, I'm thinking about him putting two and two together. The voice note, he making all these threats, but I don't see him. He just not popping up anywhere. Nobody's telling me, oh, he's, you know. I'm just putting two and two together. And his manager is a lawyer.
Yeah.
I'm like, dang, I need to pay this bread. I need to figure this out.
Yeah.
I might have to do this because I'm waiting on my boy to give me the refund.
Yeah.
It was long, It was long. So I get the frustration.
Yeah.
I do. I get the frustration. But the anger and the reaction let me know how he feel about me.
Yeah, gotcha.
You feel me?
Okay.
We peoples. I feel like if me and you were in a money thing, you or me, we would talk about it, figure it out, right? Okay. So anyway, this is like maybe June, July. I'm seeing different kinds of numbers talk about the matter, right? But they're coming up green. So I don't know if they were text-free numbers, maybe something to try and like intimidate me or whatnot. I have no idea. But I noticed around like June, July, it's all these numbers coming up and things of that nature, right? Yeah. And then fast forward to September, right? So September, I make the decision to pay him back out of my own pocket.
Gotcha.
Right? This didn't come from my boy. This didn't come from PayPal. This didn't come from his plug at Meta. This came from me.
Yeah.
Right? And he had said in the clip, oh, you know, somebody from jail tried to intimidate him. And then
what was that about?
And then when that didn't work, it backfired. No. Again, when I heard that voice note, I already made the decision to pay him back. Yeah. My peoples were telling me that I don't have to pay him back because at the end of the day, we did the service and he's being disrespectful and this and that. Straight up. That's how they wanted me to move with it. But I'm like, nah, we have a contract. I'm going to do the right thing. I'm going to mind all of the talk. I'm going to do the right thing. But then I'm like, all right, let's see what happens when this happens. Okay? Because I was coming to God a lot. You know, and I'm so proud of myself. I'm so proud of myself. But anyway, that phone call was from one of my peoples. Because again, I told you when summer came, I'm getting all these different text messages and all that. Yeah. There was even one of his boys that tried to line me up.
Wow.
Yeah, one of his boys. And, you know, he literally was talking to me about doing services and marketing services and things of that nature. He requested to meet up with me. Yeah. Now, around this time, I just went through something with another client, met up with them. It was a great conversation, great business move. Boom. So I was like, okay. But usually I put two and two together. I go do my research on a person's profile before I even do any engagement with them. I ask questions about the person. I didn't get to do none of that. I'm in emotion. Next thing you know, I give an address. Yeah. Right? I just gave an address that, you know, I'd be cool to meet up with if this is someone who's really looking to do business, right? No correspondence after that. After a while, I was like, something's off. And then it made me be like, why just be associated with it? I just felt it. Yeah. And then maybe about a cool hour later from me noticing there wasn't no immediate reply, I get a text from him on a text-free number. Yeah. You know? He said, oh, this is your address, right? Come out. Stop playing.
Wow.
Yeah.
And this is before he gets the money back. This is before the refund, right?
This is before the refund. So I'm going through this man trying to antagonize, trying to, you know, just talk crazy from January to September of 2023. Right? And let me not say January, let me say more so March, April, that's when there was like the disrespect all the way to September.
Gotcha.
Right? But I had to give the context, the prefix to it.
Yeah, of course. So roughly like 5 months of disrespect. You know?
Yeah, okay. Right, cool. So I pay him back, right? Yeah. Right. Matter of fact, before I do the paying back, I want to clear up with my boy, right? Yeah. So that call was because this is one of my peoples. Yeah. You feel me? And like, he don't play about me. Yeah. He want to see where it got to that point where he want to see where his head is at. So there was a call that was made, you know, and because at that point I didn't care. I'm getting all these other messages from other people on your behalf. I didn't care at that point. And, you know, the conversation, you know, it was sounding like he was kind of, I don't want to say peeling back from things that were being said, but that's what was reported to me, you know? And there's a whole thing behind it that I can't speak on.
Yeah.
But all that to say, it's not because of that phone call that I decided to pay him back. I've been at that point, knew that it was the right thing to do as a business because we had a signed contract.
Okay.
Where myself and my boy guaranteed, damn near, that he was gonna get this, and he didn't get it. So I'm looking at it from a business scope. I'm like, all right. And then again, the voice note let me know, oh, he's not playing about that, maybe.
Yeah. Meaning legally, he would be willing to. I guess you're looking at it like, if he doesn't get the services done, or he doesn't get his money back.
Well, the refund it's really about the refund. He doesn't get his money
back. If he
back.
doesn't get the refund, he would probably escalate the situation legally.
Right.
Like
Exactly.
take you to court or whatever the case may be.
That's how I'm thinking about it. Because that's why I had to give the context to the story, because I tried to. He's trying to get his page verified after already having his page verified and the blue check getting gone.
Is that, well, I'm not knocking him, or I don't know.
Yeah, there's no knock. I'm just telling the facts.
Is that to mean that it was a fake verification, or?
It wasn't fake verified, right?
Okay.
So to my understanding, because I've seen people that I knew that went through it.
Yeah.
One of the people got their blue check back, but you know, others didn't, whether they chose to or not, you know what I mean, whatever. But to what I gathered was that whatever articles were used in the verification could have no longer been accepted or, you know, a part of the qualifications to get verified.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
What do you need to be verified? Like, what are the, what did he need to prove that he didn't have to be verified?
You said what did he say that again?
Because you know how you say there's certain articles that he needs to have to be verified.
So basically you have to have what they consider verified press.
Gotcha.
You know, I'm not too keen on the terminology, but again, it's verified press. You know, so when he came to me, it was to redo that whole process for him. You know?
All right.
And then what helped the situation was that in February of 2023, that's when I got my verification.
Okay.
So you see clearly that it's not meta verified, but you could check it. You could check the about, and it shows you, you know. And again, there's nothing wrong with meta verified. Just there is a difference, right? Yeah. And that's what he was looking for. So going to the story, I pay him back in September out of my own pocket. Give it to God. 2 weeks later, and I'm not a messy guy, but I'm speaking my truth, and I have to speak it like this so that way there's an understanding, because I'm only doing this one time. Yeah. 2 weeks later, I get like 2-3 calls. Yo, you ain't hear what happened? Yo, what happened? What happened? Man, he got beat up. Damn. He got beat up. I don't even know the extent of the injuries. Somebody even say bleeding from his face. But he got harmed. He got beat up. He was attacked. And it was on the grounds of him being in a DM of an underage girl.
Oh, wow.
And then I heard recently that the dude, I don't know if the dude was his friend or this was somebody in his neighborhood of Westbury. But yeah, these are calls that came to me. I never even, you know, I'm not seeking this guy. I'm not thinking about him at all. Yeah. You know, but when that news came to my doorstep, I took that as a sign from God. Leave him alone. There's a certain kind of spirit on him that, you know, that, again, God got to deal with that. He got to deal with that. God got to deal with that. Yeah. And I stopped thinking about him. I let the whole situation go.
Gotcha.
You know? So then here we are, 2025, and this is being brought up.
Yeah, but I not to cut you off, but I would ask, if you paid him back, what's the issue? You know what I'm saying?
So I want to break that down.
Okay,
I want to break it.
Now when you pay him back, what does he say? Does he now say, all right, cool, I appreciate that, or yo, you better have paid me back, or was he
No,
thankful?
it was definitely not. You better have paid me back.
Okay,
It
what was
wasn't that.
what was the energy like when he paid him back?
He wanted to call. He wanted to call me.
Yeah.
Like we got on the phone maybe minutes after, and the only reason I got on the phone with him is because my people's is like, again, it's a whole, you know what I mean, whatever. But we got on the phone.
Gotcha.
We got on the phone like that, like maybe minutes after.
Yeah. What was the energy like of the conversation? Was it?
Yo, it didn't have to be like that, bro, and da 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 da, and like I didn't care to have the convo, to be real, because I've been through what I've been through. You're so disrespectful, and all that energy that you put into the disrespect, the quote unquote apology or the quote unquote shout out to the amends being made, if you will, was poor. You did one Facebook post, maybe you did something on Instagram, I don't know. But for the amount of energy that you put into trying to come for me, I wasn't a fan of how you tried to clean it up. I don't even think you cared to clean it up. You feel me?
Gotcha. Okay, so he did make a post, but you feel like there was way more negative posts made.
It's one post, Pete, that I'm telling you about. I'm telling you about a whole bunch of things that.
Gotcha.
And then off cam, if I'm not mistaken, I believe I showed you, so you know.
Damn, man.
Yeah. So let's go back, right? Go back real quick so we can move forward. So he had mentioned that I owe a girl in the interview.
Yes.
Right? You mentioned the girl. So now let's take it to March.
Okay.
Right? March, he puts us in a group chat. He says, hey, you know, this is my friend, she wants to get her page back. Right? Now, this is why with her, we didn't have a contract.
Okay.
Because we knew, and me and my partner spoke about it, we knew that we were in error to guarantee him that when it's not guaranteed. And again, anybody that's watching this, you know, feel free to chime in, whether you know it, whether you know about somebody, you know. We spoke about it.
Yeah, I could say my experience with it, and that's to anybody trying to get their page back. I know somebody who, they had damn near 3 pages, all the pages, well, 2 pages well above 100,000 followers, 1 page lower than that. They lost all their pages. It took about 3 months for them to get it back. And initially when they tried it with 1 or 2 people. I know one, I think a second person too, they lost money on that. And I remember being on the phone with them. It was a 3-way call. Me, that person, and somebody else. And he was like, damn, I lost this amount of bread. And then one of my mans was like, yo, F that, you got to get your money back. And his response was like, yo, this is how it goes. Some people can get it back, some people can't. It's like, it's kind of like up in the air, you never know. But then there was a third person that came into the picture and got him his page back. So I know there's a chance you can, there's a chance it might not happen. It all depends, you feel me? So that's my experience with it. And I was telling him, damn, you put a bag up to get your page back. I don't know if I would have went that crazy, but guess what? He has all his pages, and he done made that bread back already. He enrolling out right now.
Yeah,
you know
shout out to him. Shout out to him. Word.
Yeah. So that's my experience with that.
But that just goes to show that, yo, you know, we're talking about business with things that are not guaranteed.
Yeah.
You know, and I know how hot it can make one feel if it doesn't pan out. Like, I understand that, but what I will never tolerate is disrespect.
Understood.
That's just, and I stand on that. So, anyway, March, this happens.
Yeah.
Now, according to my partner, he's feeling very confident about this. I think he might have said we could get our page back in a month and something.
Okay.
April comes, nothing. I'm not too sure if by May she asked for a refund, but I remember asking for a refund very quick, right? Yeah. Now, again, I told you, we didn't have a contract with her for this purpose.
Yeah.
Now, at this time, I had already got what was needed from her. I believe she had to do take a picture, wear ID, send it in. She also had to give us a story as to why her page was disabled. Yeah. And I don't know how, you know, critical it is to the process of recovering it, but I know my partner said that whatever she gave as a story, it wasn't a match as to why she got her page disabled. Again, things that I was told, and these are things that I've referred back via communication to the client. So she's asking for the refund. Now, I'm talking to my boy about it. We're in May. At this time, we're receiving the disrespect already from Jaeo, right? And now, you know, she's asking for a refund. You know, and my partner got a guy who's doing this backdoor stuff at Meta. I don't know this man. I don't know his position at Meta. I don't know the things he got to do to try and make this pop. Like, okay. So, you know, I really wanted to help her. You know what I mean? She wasn't being disrespectful at all. You know, if anything, I felt like her over him, you know? But that was, at the time, my emotions. You know what I'm saying? That's what made me be like, you know what, me and him got a contract. I got to honor that.
Yeah.
With her, it was like, it was unfortunate because we were so close to the end of recovering her page. You know? We were at a point where we needed her to log in, but she didn't have, I think she didn't remember her password, right? So now my partner has to go ask this guy to do some whole other thing in the system to recover, you know, to help get her page active for her to proceed on the process of recovering it. It was to the point where I had one of my bros who's active artist right now, shout outs to him. And I asked him, I said, yo, is it cool if she wanted to talk to you to get, you know, feedback on the process and what it was like with me? Is that okay? And he was open to it. I gave her his page, and she wanted to talk. Yeah, I don't know if she reached out, but I made that aware to him in case she did hit him, and I gave it to him just in case if you felt like you could ask him, you know, and he could tell you the same thing.
Gotcha.
You know, because I had just recovered the page back. That's what made me feel confident in being able to get it done for her. Fast forward to June, right? Where this is Juneteenth. This is the first year that Juneteenth is considered a holiday.
Gotcha. Okay.
So she's asking me about the monies, right? And I said, listen, you know, I can't get an answer for you at the moment. It's a holiday. You got to give me some time.
Yeah.
She goes on, you know, says some disrespectful things. Nothing heavy, but just you know, disrespectful. She even made a threat about, you know, getting lawyers involved. She said she got 2 lawyers, all this other stuff. Okay. And then she said, yo, I don't care what holiday it is. I need my money. And again, I'm going through this guy trying to lie me, you know, all these random numbers hitting me, this girl. At that point, I was just like, there's nothing I could do. I can't honor the disrespect. Because little did she know, I would have had to take the L. It wasn't gonna come from them because they were already beyond it. You know, my partners was looking at it like, yo, like you can't keep getting bought into having to get people money back with a situation and a service that is not guaranteed. You know, but we were already where we were at with it. You know what I mean? So, you know, that's that with her. You know, so that was that.
Yeah. Now, I see in the interview, well, he does, I guess, advocate for her.
Yeah.
Right.
And what's crazy, not but what's crazy about that is he made money off the play. Like, I don't know if he paid her back himself and then that's why he's adopting the energy, but it's strange, you know, it was very strange. He made money off the play too.
Oh.
You know, I think it was I think it was 1,000. That was it. So 1,000. No, he didn't make 1,000. 1,000 was what she had to spend for the play. But it was myself, my partner, and he wanted money.
Yeah.
You know.
Gotcha.
He even called me on the phone and said, "Yo, we should charge him more."
Oh, wow.
Like, so when I see the exchange in the comments, I'm just like, man, this is hilarious. But we here because it's 2 years of this seed being planted on his end. Not because I feel whatever. I told you, after I paid him back and that whole thing happened to him, I took that as a sign from God to peel back. And I even texted him when, you know, we had contact. Yo, I don't do the internet. This is not my field. But because he did an interview, because it got sent to me, because the title reads, his name beefs with artist Warren Wint, and my name wasn't even said in the clip. I'm like, what's going on here? I gotta say something.
Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Now, is he now at odds with you? Because the reason I asked that is because he got his money back. It was just the other girl that didn't get her money back. Is he?
But even when you say money back, you know, again, it's tough. It's a tricky situation with that because we're talking about a thing that it's not guaranteed.
It's not guaranteed.
I did the service.
Yeah.
Right? A refund is when you didn't get the goods, right? Or something happened with the delivering of the goods, or there's no right? Completion upon the service, am I?
Yeah.
Okay.
So he didn't. So yeah, I mean, you gave him whatever it was. You gave him bread back. You feel
Yeah.
me? You gave him bread
In full.
in full. So I guess I would want to know. Damn, I guess you can't answer that, but I would ask, like, was his interview done to advocate for the girl, or does he still have an issue with you? Because he put up a post stating, yo, he did business right and all that. That was the end of the altercation y'all had. So I want to know, like, what was his?
I have no understanding.
Yeah.
The only thing I could tell you is assumptions.
Yeah, word.
And I could assume that, maybe the girl might have, talked to him about it or keeps talking to him about it or whatever.
So now he's.
But, I honestly don't think she has an understanding of the situation either. I don't think that she realized, like, something like the likes of, like, a service like IG recovering, that it's not a guarantee, Again, this is in no way, shape, or form to knock her. I understand where she's coming from.
Yeah.
But at the same token, because of that fact and the disrespect, I had to let it go.
Gotcha.
I had to let it go because I was trying. Little did she know, I would have had to pay her back out of my own.
Yeah.
My boys were at that time like, yo, we did the work. This is another person talking about. That's exactly what their point of view was.
Damn,
Yeah.
it's tough, man.
Yeah.
So the people coming next is like, it's a gamble, It's like a lot of this stuff is a gamble. Like when it comes to the industry, a lot of it is a gamble, man.
Yeah.
Could you ever see yourself, I guess, like making amends with him, with Jaeo past this, or was the disrespect, did it get too far?
I feel like at some point, if God allows it, we can make amends as human beings, as people. I'm a father, he's a father.
Yeah.
So I'm always cool with that. But I have no interest because of the disrespect and how far it went. We talking about you're adding my mother, and you're saying, disrespectful remarks about me and using my family in it.
Yeah, that's kind of far.
So, and I'm very big on my spirit. So, again, if God said that was the thing to do, then I'm cool with that.
Gotcha.
But I sincerely and genuinely have no interest. Again, when that thing happened back in 2023, I let it go.
Yeah.
It was to the point where maybe like, I want to say sometime last year, I deleted everything. I had every piece of disrespect this guy ever did.
Wow.
The friend request, every single thing. The video that he put on Instagram, every single thing. And I deleted it all because I had to let it go.
Yeah, I've been in that position before. I have, where it's like I'm just like, yo, I'm done with this.
And what made me just know that I had to let it go is because it was so much negative energy that was coming with it. People would call me, yo, what's this guy saying on Instagram? Da, da, da. Yo, da, da. And I would hear so many other stories about him that I don't care to hear nor retain. Feel me? Whatever he got to handle, whatever he going through, I don't wish ill on people. Like, handle that. But like, when you got stuff going on and you got time to create all of these narratives and you have this energy from years ago, it's weird.
Gotcha.
It's super weird. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I even came across 2 people that, never received compensation for work that they did with him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, again, I'm not here to promote that. It's just, it's weird.
Reality is reality. Yeah. It's unfortunate because we all from Long Island and all that. Why do you feel like, for us, right, we aren't really in the industry heavy and all that. Why do you feel like it's so hard for Long Island artists to kind of stick together? Or do you even feel like that's a thing?
It's, okay, I'm going to say it like this. There are spaces where people are cool.
Gotcha.
Feel me? There is somewhat of a unity. I believe that maybe at least one person in each of those like groups and spaces also acknowledges that if we came together, wow,
Big, yeah.
wow, like if we came together, if we all championed each other, wow, if we all, steel sharp as steel, wow, it could be a great thing. It could be mega.
Yeah.
You know, we just talking about Elmont alone, and I mentioned myself, Brody Fresh, you, Vegas, Malik Dupree, Rome. We not even talking about Ozzy. You know,
bro, you're Ozzy, Sam
you
Hood.
know what I'm saying?
So many
Guy
people.
Lair, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Carl Lamar, like we not diving. And these is all.
Yeah.
So imagine if we, but again, I don't know. I couldn't tell you. I don't even want to assume because I got love for the mission.
Yeah.
You know, like if you know, you know. I'm big LI. Like that's what we on, Elmont, you know? And there's always gonna be a part of me that aims for that. I'm still to this day, you know, you from LI, da, da, da. But, you know.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I think it would be dope too if the competitive nature was more professional versus like sensitive.
You know what's so funny? I I think about that all the time. I feel like when I look at certain spaces, right, there's people going back and forth with one another. When you think about the Hollywood and all that, people will say so many things to one another and be at the Grammys together, the Oscars together and all that. Because why? They understand that there's this competitive nature, but it's just for the work.
Man.
In the real world, I ain't got no problem with you, bro.
Yeah.
But sometimes us going back and forth for work does make the fans gravitate to the product more. It does.
Yeah,
you know what I'm
but
saying?
it would be dope
But
to
let's
see.
keep it here.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. But it would be dope to see. Like even going back and, you know, I'm going to just go back and we going to move forward.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, when I was feeling away, I thought he was going to rap with me.
Yeah. Yeah.
I thought he was going to rap with me.
Did you ever like, because we know you a lyricist and all that, so did you ever, because you anticipating, he going to have this, did you ever say to yourself, let me put something together?
Hell no.
Yeah.
It's never a thought if he had this. I'm just, you talking crazy. I don't do the statuses and going on the grams.
No, I mean on some.
No, listen what I'm saying.
Yeah,
I'm breaking it down because you saying on some rap time, right?
Yeah, rap time.
Right,
strictly.
yeah. So what I'm saying is I'm a do that. Because he's not doing that is what I'm getting at. He's statusing and texting and text-free apping and all of that.
Yeah.
I'm like, nah, I'm a rap. So I remember I had a verse, right? I was like, if I was you, I probably wouldn't be happy. Been a father, so I know how to be daddy. Really in the field swinging. You more like a caddy, cause be a parent like men. Move like a baddie, hurry to the gossip. I ain't with the hype, and in your raps you push keys. It makes sense you get the typing. It's exciting to see who they write and who they believe. I got the gift. I be running through rappers like Christmas Eve. It's embarrassing to look for the smoke and wanting me a chimney when they reach for the star like Christmas trees. Give up about your moves and when you doing your zones. You focused and my focus got me lit on my own. But since people bark for it, I'ma throw them a bone. Me casa, su casa, you in the funeral home. A noodle with Holmes. It's all love, actually. Shots to his melon. That's a watermelon dac. Like, I got joints like that. I got another joint not too long ago. And these would come anytime somebody telling me something.
Yeah.
I'm like, dang, you know? So you know what,
Yeah.
but then I did the last one. And again, after that, I'm like, I don't see no lines, right? It's just internet stuff. You know, the verse was like, I did some Shay shouts to the Punchline Academy. You know, I was like, anytime y'all put out songs, it's like you doing chores. Cause all that trash don't want to hear no more. It's Elmont up 1 million. Check the score. Put your favorite on the IV. What I do it for? It's spooky outside, man. It's getting scary. I heard that nigga from the West. You know I get him buried. I don't even say a word and it give the chills. We loaded up on Addies like we pushing pills. Black L on my back. I got a front for who? Behind the scenes, they be copping it, that red and blue. Half my is really gang. You know that red and blue. End up like a cripple or you bleeding. What you want to do? My balls petty getting BMs and sisters. You niggas ain't talking about to send them to their ancestors. The only time they get a stamp is from a fan letter. You know I'm giving you K's like I'm from Manchester. Heard you was talking to an underage and well, bumping 12 play and really wanted to play with 12. You want a yacht with some thoughts. That don't make it sell. We on an island only right that they getting shells. It's bigger lie, we'll let it fly. You can't belittle me. Can't read between the lines. I'm ill, literally. I smoke them off the gram like a double weed. Y'all the type to take a L and really smoke on the seeds. They wheelchair when you giving them facts. I rap circles around you because it's a victory lap. I'm above it. the lists and the mentions. Anytime I talk to him, it's divine intervention. I mean, Sway don't know you. P-Rock don't know you. The DJs played, but you paid to be loyal. They say forgive, but I never forget. You be moving like, what's this? So I'm getting, and that for me was just, I'm rapping, bro. Like, you feel me? But I'm talking too. You know what I mean? And I'm
addressing.
I'm talking in a way where, like, if you know, you know. I never said his name till now, bro. Never. And I'm saying it now because it's been like, he in the mirror, Candyman, Candyman, Candyman. Like, and I'm here now. Like, you know what I'm saying? Dang, I'm here though. Like, but it's all good though. You know, I appreciate the opportunity for us to be able to reconnect. I appreciate the opportunity to be able to just be able to speak on it, you know, because it was a lot. It was a lot to go through that and be able to just stand tall and, you know, be as professional as possible, but also, you know, be about my morals and values as a being, as a human being, as a man, you know?
Yeah, nah, for sure. Do you, do you feel like, would you rather not, like, have to address certain things, like, in the media and all that? Like, let's say he went about it, just kept it offline. Like, yo, you know what? We don't have to do this internet stuff. Would you rather handle things that way? Would that be better for you?
I'm cool with where it lives. Our, you know, issue or let me not say our issue. His issue with me is coming from Warren Wint, the entrepreneur, the marketer. I'm not out online and I don't got a page for all that. That was something I was newly coming across because this was something that, you know, came to my table. A lot of people came to me and said, yo, I see you doing your thing. You know, if you know any artists that's looking for this and that, you know, I work with you, boom, boom. I'm like, all right, cool, let me try it out. You know? So because the matter was an off-camera matter, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't like, you know, we were viewed together and then something was done and then we're being interviewed about it, or it wasn't like I just randomly said something about him in an interview and then he's replying. It's none of that. It's from 2 years ago and we in 2025 talking about it. It's, you know?
Yeah, we gotta, hopefully he can let that go and y'all get to a space where, you know, y'all can be cordial or whatever the case may be. I don't know. I guess right now it is like a cordial thing. It's just more of a, you stay over there, I stay over here, I do my own thing.
Look, it was a business matter that, you know, we could have done better. I acknowledge that.
Gotcha.
That's why we did the contract with him, but didn't do the contract with anybody else in regards to, you know, because even my boy whose page I brought back, we did a contract with him. But we discussed like, yo, we can't be guaranteeing this. If this is a possibility, it may not come about, or it may, whatever.
Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah. And you learn from it, you know, you keep it pushing and that's that.
That's the thing about business is like, we learning it. Like even I'm the first person in my family who's pushing this entrepreneurship flag, you know what I'm saying? Building, having a studio and things like that. So I done fumbled so many packages, you know what I'm saying? So I'm learning. So every day we learning in this business. Every day you learning, he's learning. You know, you might see 5 years from now, he might look back like, damn, I could have handled that better. You know what I'm saying? Everybody. So hopefully, you know what I mean? Word. Now let's talk about while we were talking, you did say, you know, he's a father, I'm a father. So I know you take fatherhood extremely serious. If I remember, you even did a song. You kind of made an ode to your son, and I think he's in the video. Am I bugging?
Oh, One of a Kind.
Yeah,
One of a Kind. Yeah,
yes,
yeah,
and
yeah,
I remember you. That was a while ago, but I remember how much. At that time, I didn't have a kid, but I'm like, damn, son, he's stepping for fatherhood. So talk about like how having a child, what kind of man that turned you into. What was that like? Were you scared when you found out you about to be a father? What was the experience like?
Still growing. It's one of them things that just forces you to grow. You know, I had my son at a very young age. Yeah. You feel me? You know, I was in my word. It was very young age. You feel me? I was a pup. I was wilding. You feel me?
Could you say how old you were? Or you don't want to. You don't have to.
No, they can give,
how old are you?
you know.
When you had your kid?
I was 20.
Okay.
I was 20. I was 20.
Yeah. That's early. People might be like, oh, but nah, that's early, son.
That's early.
We still playing at that age.
Right.
You know what I mean?
So it's bugged out because it's like I always feel like when you're out of school, right? It's like that timing is wild because now you're like, yo, you on your own. You on your own. It's a wild concept. I was talking about something. It's a wild concept because you're under someone's guardianship and care for X, Y long, right?
Yep.
And then you guys be on your own now.
Yeah.
Straight. You don't even have. Depending on how you grew up, you might have some training, you might have some, but overall, like it's not like that.
Yeah, most of the times you don't have
Nah, it's just, and then you just, so, 2 years into that for me, I'm a dad.
Yeah, so now you're responsible for not only yourself, you're trying to raise yourself, but also trying to
And it was a lot for me. I was still in my days where I felt like, yeah, man, I gotta get this deal and and I gotta go crazy with it and make sure I get the M so that way I could take care of it. And those things affected a lot. It affected my relationship with his mother, because then we ended up splitting. And in a time, I didn't think that would have happened. So I had to adjust my mindset as far as it pertains to life. Like, oh shoot, it's not gonna be that way.
Yeah.
But then God was always there, and God showed that it was okay. So as I got older, and it's like I grew up with my little man. It's like bugged out. You know what I mean? So, it definitely forces you to get in gear, gain character, and you do a lot of self-reflection too. There's a lot of times I remember one time as we was talking on camera about, the troubles of maintaining a clean license and how that could lead you to being arrested, right? And I remember being in Vernon B in the Bronx.
Yeah.
And then just being like, yo, one of the thoughts I had was like, dang, I cannot, because at this time my son is talking now.
Yeah.
So I wondered if he asked his mom, where's dad? And I was out, I was waiting to be bailed, but I was in there for a couple of days. Anytime I ever got in trouble, I probably would be like a day and then I'm back. So as far as he knew, I slept over a friend's house and then came home.
Yeah.
But this was, so it definitely puts you in the space of being, on top of your game.
Absolutely.
And here we are, he's doing great in school, just on the honor roll.
That's
You know
what's
what I mean? Love you, Jay. And he's doing great. Doing great.
That's what's up. What would you say was the most challenging thing about being a father? And what would you say is, matter of fact, let's stick to that one first. What was the most challenging part of being a father?
Just maintaining that balance.
Okay.
I feel like as a parent, we're always like, I gotta do this for little man, little girl. And I'm telling you that I was a father at the age of 20.
Yeah.
So I'm coming from going to school and doing all of this, learning, just doing something that, because I'm told to.
Yeah.
Really. You gotta get, education but you're still navigating through these things.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And then, I'm in and out of relationships, and then I'm a dad, and then now I'm in this mindset of trying to provide for another life. I didn't really think about me. I might have thought that I was thinking about me. I didn't really think about me, and there were times where I felt like, man, I'm, as they would say, crashing out, and things of that nature, because there was a lot of things that I was still getting into, a lot of things I was still tapping into, even as a dad, that at times I'd feel, shamed about being a part of, you know what I mean? And eventually it will get to that space of like, I gotta get away from everything. I gotta separate myself from all kinds of, negative energies and just really be about this righteousness,
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
So I would say balance. All the parents out there, definitely handle your business, do what you got to do, but make sure you right too. You know what I'm saying? Because when you're on your up and up, you're able to do what you need to do for your children.
Absolutely. I realized that too. Yeah. I know we could sit and talk for hours. There's so many
Yeah,
things we
so
could chop
it
it
is.
up about. But God said rap.
God
out
said
now.
rap. Yeah.
Out now.
Out now, man. All streaming platforms, man. Go run that up. God said rap.
Absolutely.
God said rap,
Absolutely.
man.
If I was y'all, definitely listen to curses first. You know what I'm saying? Definitely. Yeah, man. I definitely want you to come back and
Sure.
I
Yeah.
truly appreciate your time.
Appreciate you, brother.
Like I keep saying, there's so much more we could talk about. There's more we will talk about. But again, I gotta give my flowers to you, man. Elmont legend. Definitely somebody who waved that flag for not only Elmont but Long Island, period. And we salute you, we commend you, we supporting you. Word, ladies and gentlemen, Warren Wint, man. Is there any final words before we get up out of here, man?
Listen, man, God said rap. You heard? That's it, man. I'm not here to do the talking, but we had a great conversation. I appreciate you, my brother P. And Elmont, man, you know the vibes, man. You know what I'm saying? You know what time we on? God said rap. Rap.
Let's get it.
Shalom.